We are delighted to be joined now by John Elway, the Broncos president of football operations. John, thanks for being with us this morning. I know there's something that's really important to you that you want to get to, and we will discuss that, I promise. But I have to ask, was there any way that you thought going into the season I'd play 3 games with Von Miller on one side, Bradley Chubb on the other, and not have a single sack nor a single turnover?
No, not at all. I mean, I think obviously very unusual, but something that hopefully we get turned around this week.
It would be stunning with that defense if it doesn't happen, which leads to a bigger question in an era, and listen, you've been in this game a long time seeing the ebbs and flows, in an era where at times it's been younger new head coaches, offensive-minded head coaches. What was the thought process of going with an older coach on the defensive side of the ball in Vic Fangio?
You know, first of all, I loved what Vic was about. I loved, his history and the experience that he had in the NFL on the defensive side and the success that he'd had. Was one of the top 2, 3, 4 defensive coordinators in the league. Had tremendous success in San Francisco as well as recently in Chicago. And so I really thought that at this point in time last year, or when we're going through the coaching search, that Vic's attention to detail, the little things, and his intelligence in the game was something that we really needed. And so that's why I decided to go with Vic. And I'm excited about it, even though we've had a slow start. I'm really excited about what he can do as a head coach.
Talking to John Elway with us, the Broncos president of football operations on the show, Pennzoil Performance Line. And Coach, you guys won the Super Bowl there early in your tenure with Peyton Manning. You brought him over in free agency. And since then, it's been a difficulty in finding quarterback. And I'm sure you've heard the criticism. So in your mind, what's been the difficulty in finding that next successor in that Broncos quarterback lineage?
Well, they're hard to find, and so I think that, it all has to work. You have to have the people around them. You also have to have the system that fits the quarterback, and so I think there's a lot of different things that goes into it. And obviously, we've not found that guy. I think Joe is, even though we're 0-3, we're excited about Joe and where we think he can take us. And the fact that he's been there, he's got that experience, he's won a world championship, and he knows what it takes. And so, that guy is so hard to find, and if you can't find him, we've been tinkering with it. We hope that, with Joe in the immediate future and then drafting Drew Lock last year for the future, that hopefully we've found a good combination to be able to win some football games there.
John, with that in mind, if we don't see progress from Joe, even though that's what you brought him in for and you hope that that's the case, and Drew comes off injured reserve after week 8, would we expect to see a quarterback change?
You know what? We're not going to get that far. I'm not going to talk about that. We're trying to concern ourselves about winning the first game, and so I think that we're concentrating on Jacksonville. We'll cross that bridge when we get there and see where we are. But Joe Flacco's our quarterback, and we just got to play better as a football team, and making the mistakes that we're making. If we can eliminate those, then we got a chance to win a football game.
What do you think overall, John, looking at this league and where it's gone, and both your quarterbacks are good-sized quarterbacks. Certainly you were, and it was interesting. Marcus Spears was just in here saying mostly Super Bowl quarterbacks have been of the bigger variety, but we are seeing smaller quarterbacks run around a little more. What's your thought of how NFL has evolved with the smaller quarterback and a little more of the college system coming into the NFL?
You know what, Mike? I think the big thing is, you used to talk about the bigger quarterbacks, and you really talked about quarterbacks being in the pocket and being able to see. But that was so much when quarterbacks back in the day were a lot more we were under center a lot more than they are now. And so I think being in shotgun, which allows your vision, you have much better vision in shotgun. And so with that being said, I think that allows you don't have to be the 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" quarterback to see anymore because you're in shotgun so much. And so that allows the shorter quarterbacks to have success in the league. And I think that comes from, the systems that everybody's running and spreading the field.
Talking to John Elway with us again, 2-time Super Bowl champion and now Broncos president of football operations, someone who certainly fits the normal quarterback mold of size and has had plenty of success in your division has been Patrick Mahomes. And we've seen generational talent, the early success he has had. As you look at him now and see he's going to be there with you guys twice a year for the foreseeable future, do you take that into account as you look at how we construct your team going forward?
Well, I think that obviously with them being in our division, we always look at, our first goal is to win our division. And so, Patrick's obviously shown that he's a tremendous talent, going to be around a long, long time. And so, yeah, there's no question we have to concern ourselves with what he does and what Kansas City does if our first goal is always to win the division. So, I think he's great for the league. Unfortunately for us, he's in our division, and so we'll have to figure out a way to defense him and hopefully get some wins against him.
Do you ever find yourself watching the game and saying, "Damn, I never did that"?
Yeah, I never threw the no-look pass, and so that was amazing when he did do that.
It was incredible. And, John, we'll get to the hand condition here in a second. I do want to ask one thing that is sort of something that you started all those years ago. We see a lot of players, especially in college now, realizing how much power they actually have in controlling over their decisions and where they want to be and what they want to do. And for people that may have forgotten, in the 83 draft, the Baltimore Colts had the number 1 pick, and you basically said, hey, man, don't pick me, because if you do, I'm going to play baseball for the Yankees. And eventually they traded that pick and you ended up in Denver. What do you think of the player sort of empowerment movement we're seeing not only in the NFL but also in college football these days?
Well, I mean, I just think you see the transformation. I think with, the amount of money that's in the NFL right now and the size of the cap, and it continues to grow year in and year out. So I think with that size and that amount of money is all of a sudden – it allows the players to be able to use a little more force and a little more strategy to try to get themselves in a situation that they're not happy with and try to get out of. So, I think it's just part of the territory when you have as much money as that's involved. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, you like to see the players stay home, and have a good relationship there because of the relationship they've created with the fans. But that is going to be part of the game. We're going to have to deal with it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.